Hi everyone, I'm Chiara and in this channel I talk about overconsumption, influencer culture and other social issues. If you're interested in these topics, I invite you to take a look at my other videos. Maybe you'll find something worth watching. Recently, I came across a lot of videos both on Instagram and TikTok confirming the presence of strong gender inequalities within couples, particularly regarding household management and childcare. The fact that people create this type of content and upload it online demonstrate the normalization of this inequality and allow us to analyze in depth the dynamics shown, introducing at the same time new topics of discussion. To support my arguments, I will cite some official and academic sources, which you can find in full in the description box. I encourage you to read them as sources offer a richer and deeper understanding than a second-hand summary like the one I provide in this video. They foster critical thinking, prevent the spread of fake news, and help you distinguish facts from opinions. Finally, they are crucial for identifying propaganda and avoiding ideological deception. Last but not least, if you are a man and you think that this video is an attack on your gender, I promise you it's not. And if you think that it is directed only to women, you're completely wrong. The goal is to educate both men and women on these issues. So if you are a man, you're more than welcome here. And I hope to shed light on some dynamics that you may not have noticed before. This video is divided in 4 chapters. The first one involves a very upsetting trend masked as a joke regarding household chores. In the second chapter, we are going to talk about the relationship between men and household management, questioning how this responsibility is divided within the couple. In the third chapter, we are going to analyze the relationship between men and childcare and the fine line that separates a man who wants children from a man who wants to be a father. Finally, we will draw some conclusions about the roles and responsibilities of men and women in both engaging in and allowing these behaviors. While I was doing my research, I stumbled upon a very popular and, in my opinion, disturbing trend. I had in front of my eyes a very long list of almost identical videos, all under a common title, which is "When your girlfriend is mad at you, but you're not a women beater." While it may be intended as ironic, the wording is in very poor taste because it trivializes a very serious issue. Violence against women isn't a joke, it's a reality. And this is why, in a context where it is often downplayed, questioned, or justified, I find this kind of humor to be completely out of place. But if the title alone is already problematic, wait until you see the actual content. Are you ready? Let's start with the first video. First of all, I can see that he is wearing a t-shirt with the word podcast written in the back, and at this point, I'm afraid to ask what kind of podcast it is. Anyway, in the comment section, we can see comments like this. This is literally the definition of aggressive abuse, to which the couple replied with that face. Are you sure that this is your definitive answer? Because it's not a very good one, and on the contrary, it makes you look worse. But you don't hit women, like that was the alternative choice. Hilarious. Obviously, she is ironic. To which the wife replied once again in a joking way. This doesn't surprise me given the fact that in their profile's bio we can read couples comedy, chaos and love, except for the fact that I really don't think this is something to joke about, and in a moment we are gonna know why. My 7-year-old niece used to do the same tantrums. Now she learned how to talk about it. Yes, because this is in fact a very childish behavior. Let's watch a couple more videos together before reading the awful comments beneath them.
Are you serious? What the hell? You can fold them now.
I wonder how these couples think it's okay to normalize such a disrespectful behavior. I have actually no words. I saw plenty of comments saying, "It's just a joke." Is it? Are you sure? Hold on to that thought. Probably the most satisfying thing in the entire universe. That is also abuse. What are we supposed to do then? Like they don't know how to communicate properly. Come on now. I open all the cabinets, put stuff on the top shelf she can't reach, lift the pokey seat up, to which the creator replied, "I like the way you think, bro." I do petty stuff like hide the remotes, unplug lamps, pull bookmarks. Oh, now she wanna talk. These are real comments referring to real life. The man who wrote them casually admitted to actually behaving this way. Do you still think these videos are just joking? Here's a final compilation for you. Now we know that these videos A aren't simply some skits, they portray the reality most women deal with every day, but also that B, in these videos, household chores are framed as entirely the woman's responsibility, because if they weren't, creating a mess out of spite wouldn't make any sense. This last point is what leads us to the second chapter. In the comment section of all the videos I'll show you today, I've found many men arguing that since they're the ones providing for the home, taking care of it is the least a woman can do. This idea stems from the fact that until the 70s, the division of roles within the family was based on the male breadwinner model. Male worked for a pay, while women were expected to take care of the house and the children. This arrangement wasn't the result of free choice, for sure, but in that historical context, domestic labor was a woman's responsibility. What these people fail to recognize is that in today's world, women work as well. Data from the World Bank Open Data clearly show this. You can find the percentage of women in the labor force both globally and broken down by individual countries. Women make up nearly half of the total labor force in the United States, where these videos were filmed. What happens then is that women end up working both outside and inside the house, while men overall work significantly less hours. And to be clear, this is not an opinion, this is a fact supported by research. An article by Chiara Saraceno and Wolfgang Keck from 2011 analyzed gender inequalities in unpaid domestic labor, childcare, and elder care. You can find it linked in the description box. I strongly recommend reading it as it is extremely illuminating. The graphic shown here instead comes from another article written by Chiara Saraceno once again, together with Manuela Naldini in 2013. It compares the time devoted to paid work and unpaid family labor by employed women and men aged 20 to 70 across several European countries. What clearly emerges is that 1. Employed women in every country considered perform far more family work than men, And 2, in most countries, men spend less than 2 hours per day on household chores. Overall, this pattern shows that the division of domestic labor remains heavily skewed against women, despite both women and men being active on the labor market. So from now on, I don't want to hear any excuses claiming that women should take care of the house because men are providers. This argument has been debunked. And keeping in mind the research-based evidence I just shared, the next videos are going to be even more disturbing. The starting question is, how do men treat household chores within a relationship? And I've identified 3 recurring patterns. 1, they simply don't do them. In some cases, they even get angry when a woman who also has a full-time job doesn't have everything ready for them. 2, they do contribute, but conditionally. They help only if they get something in return. 3, they pretend they don't know how to do them. They perform tasks poorly and create a mess on purpose so that women eventually stop asking for help. This behavior is widely known as weaponized incompetence. Evidence supporting the first point can be found in the following 2 videos.
What is this? Why are my clothes not folded?
He's come home in a bad mood and is taking it out on his wife.
Why are my clothes not neatly folded and put away?
I'm taking a nap. What the hell is wrong your problem, bro?
You didn't fold my clothes and put them away.
Oh, then you do it.
No.
Yes, I'm tired. I worked a whole 8-hour shift and I want to take a nap. And you're over here talking about laundry.
Well, you can put my laundry away before you
It's
take a
your
nap.
laundry. You can fold it and put it away.
This is a super aggressive and disrespectful behavior, by the way. Don't allow it.
You see that as helping me? Is that genuinely how you see it? Be honest.
Taking the load off you. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I want to do it.
That's the shift we need to do. That's the shift we need to create, especially if both parents in the home are working, is you're not doing it to help me. You're doing it to help run your household, our household.
It's a good mental shift.
That's why you're doing it, because this is our family unit and this is our home.
But I would leave the washing up there for a day. I would leave that there.
Yeah, I know.
So I am doing it for you. When I'm on my own, I would leave that there for a day and just do it the next day. And I'm like, I'm fine with that.
I'm not fine with that. See,
so I am doing it for you at that. So I am doing it for you at that point, aren't I? Because I don't.
Under this second video, we can read some comments. Will you help him fix the sink, the car, basically anything outside, especially if both parents are working? Someone correctly replied, how often do these things need doing? Once, twice a year, the dishes every single day, multiple times. No comparison to ringing the plumber or garage once a year. Exactly, you can't compare tasks that are done once or twice a year with the multiple chores that must be done multiple times per day, every single day. Either you're dumb or you're making this nonsensical comparison on purpose, and I don't know which one is worse. Fellas, just don't marry these women, not worth the stress. This time, I actually agree with you, Rosie664. Actually, you know what? Just to be safe, don't marry anyone at all. Please. I don't believe he'd do it the next day, and if he did it long enough and regularly, he'd conclude that he needs a strict schedule, or the kids won't have what they need. We are not neurotic, and I'm so tired of this narrative, right? But you don't live alone. The kids need to be fed in the morning, so the dishes need to be done now. You do not live alone. Exactly. These videos comment themselves. I have actually nothing to add. And to be clear, I'm not saying that all men are bad husbands or fathers. Many men are caring, present, and truly equal partners. However, this is a cultural issue. A significant number of men are still raised to believe and therefore behave as if domestic labor isn't their responsibility. Acknowledging this pattern isn't an attack on individuals, but rather an accessory step if we want to change the system who normalize it. That said, we come to the second point. Trigger warning, what you're about to see is disgusting. Let's take a look at this video together.
I hear men complaining that their wives don't want to have sex with them, and then I see videos like this and can't understand the confusion. You shouldn't be doing the dishes to get laid. You should be washing the dishes because they need to be cleaned. Imagine if your wife only did things around the house for compensation, because as far as I can tell, the only thing women get for doing dishes is more dirty dishes and a clean sink. I know some of you feel like a hero when you've done something around the house, but you didn't clear her schedule. You just took one thing off a list of 100 other obligations. And that's the difference between doing something for applause and participating in a household because you live there. Do you know how exhausting it is to watch someone want to be celebrated for the same thing you do daily without notice? You took on one thing to be rewarded. She takes on everything because she has to. And you consistently prove that you don't care about supporting her as a person, but you want her to lay down like a woman that feels loved, supported, and adored. And you send the message that you don't see her as an equal, because if you didn't think it was woman's work, then you wouldn't expect to be rewarded for doing it as a man. But do you actually think she doesn't notice that you only do what you should when you want to get laid? Because you end up acting like a kid who will only clean his room for an allowance. And then you get angry when you don't think you got the gratitude you deserve. And that's the problem with only doing something to be rewarded. You end up feeling resentful when you aren't. But if you're capable of feeling like your participation was for nothing just because you didn't get the something you wanted, then it was never about freeing up minutes for her and always about freeing up minutes to please you. And I'd love for you to tell me what's sexy about that.
Perfectly said. I love this woman. But in the comment section, we read things like this one. I'm pretty sure it was a joke, hon. Was it? By looking at the comment section under the original video, I don't think so. I can hear them all now. That's literally the bare minimum. Because it is. And that's when you never touch another dish again. Wives need to understand things. It's fine if she says not tonight, just go to the bar and find someone who is tonight. That's why I don't do them. Don't let who you are currently with stop you from finding your forever wife. The answer is very clear. No, it isn't a joke. Again. And by the way, these men are disgusting. They make me wanna puke. I'm not joking. First of all, doing things for your partner not out of love or responsibility, but only because you expect something in return, it's disgusting. Second, you are not helping her. If you live in the same house, you're just taking care of your own space. I don't see how cleaning or maintaining your home is a favor. It's basic responsibility, and calling it help already says a lot about you. Third, you expect to be rewarded for doing a chore once while she performs multiple chores multiple times per day, every single day, without any recognition. Why do you think you deserve special treatment? Because I hate to break it to you, but you're not special. Fourth, do you really think your wife doesn't notice this pattern? That she doesn't see that you contribute only when you want something from her? And do you truly believe that this dynamic nurtures desire or intimacy? Because let me tell you something, it does the exact opposite. I could go on, but it's time to move on to the third point, weaponized incompetence. I won't talk too much. Instead, I let two very self-explanatory videos speak for themselves. I want to be very clear. If you are a woman, you need to understand that this is not funny. In many of these videos, the woman is laughing, but what exactly are you laughing at? There is nothing funny, quirky, or cute about your supposed equal partner being unable to perform the most basic tasks. When you laugh at him as if he were a 5-year-old child, you are reinforcing the problem. In that moment, you are part of it just as much as he is. I know that this may sound a little harsh, but this is a very important point that needs to be made. In the comment section, we can read, my theory is men pretend to not know how to do stuff, so you won't ask them to do anything. Sadly, this is not a theory at all. And the proof is right there in the same comment section when some man openly confessed to actually be doing it. Bet you don't ask him again. Well played, bro. See, luckily some creators are actively addressing these issues like this one.
I asked my husband to put the leftovers away yesterday. It was ravioli. This is a trash bag. That's a trash bag.
Say it with me now. Weaponized incompetence. In a relationship, your partner's using their lack of knowledge as an excuse as to why they did the action that they did the way they did. She asked him for a favor, which was to put the leftovers away, which he did. And obviously, him putting the leftovers away isn't a problem. It's how he stored the leftovers in the refrigerator that is a problem. And now this is going to be an argument because she's going to go confront him and say, hey, sweetheart, when you put the leftovers away, you put them in a plastic bag. And he's going to say, well, at least I put them away. That's what you asked me to do, so I did it. Meanwhile, he may not be acknowledging, or he may know why this is a problem, but he's using his lack of intelligence as an excuse as to why he did what he did. He's going to say in return, well, you didn't tell me I had to put it in a Tupperware. You didn't tell me I had to put it in a storage container. How am I supposed to know how to store that? Just because I didn't put it away the way you would put it away doesn't mean that it's wrong. I did what you asked me to do. It's never good enough for you. That's more likely how that conversation would go if she approaches him, because he seems like that type of person based off this one simple action. And of course, this tends to bleed out in other areas of the relationship. So for example, when it comes to cleaning the household, a lot of men like this would assume that their wife or their girlfriend are responsible solely for cleaning the place that they both live in. Therefore, when their girlfriend or wife confront them and say, hey, I need help cleaning an apartment, I need help cleaning the house. Well, you never told me and I don't know how to clean. This is your responsibility. You're always the one who's supposed to clean because this is a woman's job. And more likely, it'll become an issue. Weaponized incompetence is not an excuse to do shitty things in a relationship. You are an adult. You have access to Google. You have access to YouTube. You know what you can even do on top of that? You can ask your partner, hey, how did you want me to store this ravioli? What was the best way to store it so that way it stays as fresh as possible? Instead of, let me grab a trash bag and wrap it around the bowl and put it in the refrigerator, because that's how food is supposed to be stored. That's how my mom always stored food, with a trash bag. Come on now.
Finally, some common sense and perfectly articulated, honestly. Good job. The problem is that weaponized incompetence doesn't stop at household chores. It spills over into childcare. And with that, we enter the third chapter. How many men want children yet show no real interest in caring for them or in being good fathers at all? Apparently, far too many. This is Kuipo Dawn, I think. She uploaded a video that was meant to be cute, only for it to be widely perceived as deeply worrying. I won't show you the original clip because it repeatedly frames the children, obviously, which would require covering almost the entire video. Instead, I'll show you this stitch, which accurately summarizes the original content and adds commentary that I fully agree with.
The bar is literally in hell. And if you think that's low, then go even lower, and that's how low this is. And I don't know if she meant it to be like cute, funny, and quirky, or if it was a call for help. She said, I left my husband and kids for 4 days, and this is how I came home to them. Mind you, I'm not showing the video because I don't post other people's kids on my page. But follow along. My daughter's hair not brushed out and still the same way I did it when I left. 4 days and the man didn't touch her hair? That means for 4 days, they didn't get bathed. And when you watch the video, it is very evident that they were not bathed. They're all disgustingly dirty. Their son is in his cousin's pants that are too small. Daughter's hair still the same way as when she did it. Baby still in the same pajamas from 4 days prior and has booger nose. Peep the hair. My husband said, I loved being home with them, but I'm so happy to go back to work. I can't believe you do this every day. Thank you. She doesn't do that every day. She does way more than you do with those children, and it's quite evident. The fact that this man would rather go to work than take care of his children properly. 4 days without bathing? Like I said, it's not like, oh, well, you know, they didn't really look that dirty. They look disgusting. They look like they went through a dumpster. Like she couldn't even go somewhere without him and trust him to take care of the children for 4 days. What happens if she somehow tragically passed away? And now this man is the one that's in charge of them? He's their sole caretaker? He can't even put on clothes that fit them. He can't even bathe them. And he wants to say, oh, I don't know how you do this. It's so hard. He didn't even do it. He didn't even take care of them. What do you mean? How do you do this? Somebody said, so your husband is incapable of keeping up with taking care of y'all's children. And she said, ha, 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 ha. Why do they always laugh? She said, ha, ha, no. He just, one, likes our daughter and son to dress themselves, to teach them independence. Hey, you can do that by still picking out their clothes that fit them. Here are some clothes. Put them on. That's what I do with my daughter. She can put her clothes on. I pick them out. Doesn't know how to do girls' hair. First off, attempting would be grand, but it's literally washing their hair and running a brush through it. My son didn't want his hair brushed. Hey, too bad, pal. We gotta brush your hair so you don't look homeless. There are some things kids don't like to do, but we need to do them anyway. Brushing their hair, brushing their teeth, washing them. These are all things that sometimes you have to fight with them about, but it is very necessary. 3, he was deep cleaning our house to surprise me while taking care of the kids. Was he really taking care of the kids, though? How deep is he cleaning this house? Is it just about as well as he kept his kids clean? And we're laughing about this like it's funny, and we're boasting about it like this is relatable. No, girl, you're better off being a single parent than letting him take care of your children.
The comments under the original video says it all. I don't want to read through 2,000 comments. Is she defending him? Yes, obviously. Here we can read. I've left my husband with my daughter for a weekend before. She was bathed, dressed in appropriate clothing, her hair was brushed, house was tidy, and they had a great time. This is not the flex you think it is. To which she replied, 1 kid compared to 3, ha 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 ha. How funny. Hilarious. Her answer is deeply irritating, but anyway, soon other people rushed to prove her wrong. No, competent parent versus incompetent parent. We have 3 kids aged 6, 4, and 2. My husband is more than capable of bathing them, brushing their hair, getting them dressed twice a day, and feeling the temperature outside. Stop making excuses for bad fathers who are only providers. Exactly. Or also, I have 4 kids, sis, and my husband wouldn't do this stuff, so what's your excuse now? Mom of 5 here with a non-verbal special needs son. I stay home full-time and homeschool. I've left for a few days for a girls' trip and my husband has cleaned the home, facilitated homeschool, cooked and cleaned 3 meals a day, and worked a full-time job. Please don't accept this behavior. One last comment. My husband is capable of taking care of multiple kids. We have 2 and he's been responsible for many nephews before. My husband is a man and a father, not a grown child weaponizing incompetence. Yes, because there are actually many good husbands and fathers who genuinely do their part in caring for their families. So stop defending the ones who don't. But that wasn't enough. She went on to publish even more videos defending him. I'm gonna show you 2 of them.
Okay, I really want to address this. There's a lot of people saying that, like, he neglects my kids and horrible, this is a red flag, you need to leave him. I'm going to stop that right now, and I wasn't going to do this, but I'm actually going to tell you why my kids weren't really ready. Last week was a really, really hard week for my husband and I and his family. It has been on November 6th. It was exactly 1 year since his 15-year-old brother died in a house fire. So
I'm very, very sorry to hear this. I can't imagine how difficult it is to go through something so traumatic, but I hate to say it, but this has nothing to do with the situation portrayed in the original video. I'm sorry.
That was already a really hard thing for my husband. And so, oh my gosh, hold on. Anyways, so I wasn't even going to go on my little vacation away because I already knew it was going to be a really hard week for us. And knew it was going to be a really hard week for us. And so I didn't want to leave, but he pushed me to go because I go to this thing every year and he thought it would be a good distraction for me. I was really worried about him. I told him, just let the kids run free. Don't worry about getting them ready for the day or having to do an activity with them or whatever. And he said, I'm not going to do that. So he actually went bowling with his dad to kind of celebrate his brother because his brother wouldn't want him to just, mourn. He said that he didn't realize it would hit him this hard because he thought, it's been a year. It's not going to be as hard as it was, but it really hit him hard. And so, yeah, my kids were still in pajamas. Their hair wasn't done. They didn't have a bath. But I will tell you, they had the time of their lives because they literally had no roles for that week. Another thing with the clothes, my daughter loves to dress herself. But she also is in love with summer clothes. She doesn't care if it's cold outside or anything. And so my job as their mom is to buy them clothes, go through their clothes, put away their summer clothes, winter clothes, etc. for the new seasons.
I'm gonna stop you right there. It is not just a mother's job. This is also a father's job. So if you weren't present, you were away, he should have do it.
I haven't gotten to her room yet because I just haven't had the motivation to really do it. So she still had her summer clothes in her drawers. So she's going to pick a summer outfit and I don't want to say no or he doesn't want to say no because we allow her to pick her own outfits and we want her to feel independent in that way. Obviously, he had a coat for her. Obviously, she didn't want to wear it and they were in the car. So it doesn't really matter. Next, her hair. My husband, ever since he found out our first daughter was a girl, he learned how to braid, do hair, and all of that.
Wasn't she saying before that he doesn't know how to do hair and that was the reason why her doctor's hair wasn't made? Like, am I tripping?
But again, this week, he already had a hard time getting dressed and ready himself. So for him to have to, you guys didn't know the backstory, so I don't really blame any of you guys for saying he's a red flag or he's neglecting them or anything. It was a really, really hard week for him and his family. And so I do give him an excuse because I know how hard it was to even get out of bed when it happened. We had to because we had to take care of our kids. Okay, I just got out of school, but I don't think you guys understand. I do not bathe my kids every single day. I think it's a waste of time. I bathe my kids every other day and I don't bathe them at night because I don't have time for that. I'm already tired. They're exhausted. Yes, we do a bedtime routine, but it does not involve a bath. I bathe them in the morning for the day. Secondly, a lot of you guys are saying that he didn't bathe them or he didn't get them dressed or anything. I don't think you guys remember I told you my kids dressed themselves. So my daughter dressed herself in summer clothes because I haven't changed out her summer clothes. Like I haven't taken her summer clothes out. She had a coat, but she wouldn't wear it. She was in the car. I don't think that's a big deal. Next, my son picked his clothes and me and my sister live together and she has a son that is 1.5 years old. And so his pants got mixed in our laundry. Oops, my son wanted to wear that. We don't think we should tell our kids, no, you can't wear that because it doesn't fit you, because I think that's psychologically going to cause them when they're older to be like, oh my gosh, it doesn't fit me. That's so bad, when I don't think it is. So yeah, my husband let him wear that and they kind of look like capris. So my husband didn't think, oh, those are koas. When I was 9 years old, my mom became paralyzed from the neck down. She was in the hospital for a long time. My dad was with her all the time. I learned to do my own hair, to do my siblings' hair, get dressed by myself, get all my siblings dressed, cook, clean, do laundry, all of that. And I'm not complaining. I'm saying I loved that.
Yeah, but if you learned how to do all these things when you were literally a child and you too were going through something very traumatic, then your husband should be able to do the same thing because he is an adult, right? I don't think she realized that she contradicts herself continuously.
But I don't think that's a bad skill to learn how to do yourself. I'm telling you this because I want my kids to grow up to be more independent. Next, everybody grieves differently. A lot of comments are saying that my husband was being neglectful. I don't remember saying they weren't fed, they weren't played with, they weren't in the house warm, they didn't go bowling, except wait, they did go bowling. They didn't go to the store and pick out snacks for movie night. Oh wait, they did do that. So apparently to you guys, being neglectful is not bathing them one of the days. Pretty sure being neglectful is not feeding your children, caring for them, and watching after them, when my husband did all of that. The only thing you guys are complaining about is not bathing them for one of the days that they were supposed to be bathed that I was gone. Also, another reason I don't bathe my kids every other day is because 2 of my kids have severe eczema and I can't bathe them every day because it dries out their skin. So it's actually really bad for them to bathe every day. So there's another reason we don't. So yeah, you never know what's going on behind scenes. That's all I'm going to say. But thanks for the comments and all the nice people.
This was a hard watch. There's nothing to comment here, so let's move on to another example. I'll show you the video first and then I'll explain my thoughts.
I have my husband watching our daughter while I get ready. Let's see how many times he says, "Let's go see what mommy's doing."
What are you doing?
I'm filming and get ready with me.
I really wanted to say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Show her your piggy.
Is that your piggy?
She needs to eat. You're the source.
Bro, she's not hungry. I promise you,
She
she's not
needs to
hungry.
eat.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, she wants some lipstick too early. Sorry, Everly. Okay, I won't bother you.
You look so pretty. Alright, I gotta film this part.
I don't think the issue here is physical proximity. Maybe he is just a clingy husband. Maybe it's his way to show affection. But no, especially when he says that the baby needs to be fed, even though that wasn't true, it becomes clear that he is desperately trying to hand the baby over to her. And if you pay close attention, you'll see that he does this repeatedly. And all of that happens within just 10 minutes. Let that sink in. I often wonder why some fathers are like this. Were they forced to have children? No, quite the opposite. In many cases, they strongly want them, without ever reflecting on how profoundly the mother's life will be turned upside down. And yet, once the children are born, they take little to no responsibility for actually caring for them. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about all fathers. I'm talking about this specific type of father. And trust me, there are far more of them than many people are willing to admit. This video shows a textbook example of a man who simply doesn't care. In the comment section, he defended himself by claiming that he fully trusts his wife, But watch the video and decide for yourself, because I don't think that's what's happening here.
All right, wives, moms, there are several questions that you have that you don't need to ask your husbands about. It's about like an activity for the kids. Just sign them up. I don't care. Whenever it is, however much it costs, like I'll do it. I can't do gymnastics with them. I can't do like, I don't have a pool. So yeah, it's fine. Also, if it's anything for you that's less than like, I don't know, $400, you don't have to ask me. Just buy it. It's fine. You need it. Maybe $600. If you need a night out with your friends, just let me know when. I don't care. I'll cancel my plans if I have them. I won't have them. Okay? It's fine. Just do it. If you're making dinner, when have I ever not eaten anything you made? Whatever you make, even if you made it the night before, it's fine. I'll eat it again. And finally, if you just start the question like, do you care? No. The answer is no. I never care. We never actually care at all. So you're good. Just go ahead and do it. Seriously.
So some points he made are correct, I think. So he's saying that his wife doesn't need to get permission to do certain things. So yes, but when we think about the childcare area, it can become a problem, because yes, you fully trust your wife, she doesn't have to ask for permission, but maybe when we are talking about children, this is not the point, right? The point is that you should be involved, you should care. So I perfectly understand the point that he was trying to make, but it simply depends on the context to which you're applying what he's been saying, right? And I say this because this disengagement is systematic and can be observed across many countries. At the moment, I only have Italian data at hand, but I still think they are very useful and broadly representative of a wider pattern. Although I have to say that some Northern European countries perform significantly better, as unfortunately Italy remains a strongly patriarchal society. The source is Istat, Italy's National Institute for Official Statistics, and the graph is showing the use of parental leave in Italy among parents of children between the age of 0 and 8 years old, and it reveals that even if the leave is formally transferable between men and women, it is still predominantly taken by mothers rather than fathers. In fact, we can read that when it comes to leave for a child's illness, fathers account for only 23.1% of requests, while mothers make up a striking 77%. And the situation is even more unbalanced when we look at optional parental leave. In this case, fathers represent just 14% of those who take it compared to 86% of mothers. So here the gender gap is not only present, it's even wider than in the case of sick leave. Overall, the data confirms the persistence of a strongly traditional model of care in which policies that are formally gender neutral fail to effectively rebalance the unequal division of caregiving labor. This video is coming to an end, so let's take a moment to recap and draw some conclusions. We've seen how gender inequalities are still deeply present in couples across countries, especially when it comes to household chores, childcare, and much more. And this leads us to two final reflections. First, a message to the men watching this. You are better than this, and you can be the real agents of change in this generation. Educate yourselves on these issues because they are often invisible to you precisely because of the privilege of not having to deal with them daily. And be critical, especially of the so-called alpha male content and red pill narratives. Don't let them convince you that inequality is natural. You are more than capable of being a loving, responsible, and overall amazing partner and father. Now, a message to the women. Please stop framing inequality within your couple as something funny or quirky. It isn't. Talk about these issues early on. Set clear expectations and trust what you see, not what you hope will change. And if you find yourself stuck in a relationship where these patterns persist despite communication, have the courage to leave. You deserve an equal partner, not an additional child. And that's the end of today's video. Thank you to everyone who stayed with me until the end. I truly hope this wasn't only interesting, but also thought-provoking. If you feel like it, you're welcome to share your thoughts in the comments. I always encourage discussion around these topics as long as it remains respectful, because this conversation matter and they're necessary. If you found this video valuable, you can support my work by leaving a comment or subscribing. You can also follow me on Instagram, the link is in my bio. I'm working on a new project there where I'll start sharing short form content connected to these themes. And finally, a reminder. All the sources I referenced are linked below. I strongly encourage you to take a look at them, explore the data, and research for yourself. That's all for today. I'll see you next week. Bye.